Hey, American contractors, viewers of the American Contractor Show. I'm here with John Dye at Win the Storm, and I have to tell you, anyone that is associated with American Contractor Show, you are a badass.
Big shout out to American Contractor Show. If you don't know, you definitely need to check out the Storm Summit. They're doing it in excellence. Check them out.
Hey, what's up? This is your friend, Francisco Serrano. If you haven't checked it out, American Contractor Show, YouTube channel, Facebook channel, Twitter, Instagram, all the platforms, you need to go them, like them, start learning about your craft.
Hey, I'm Matt Danskin with Restoration Referral System. Check out the American Contractor Show. The truck that they've got is awesome. Everything else that they have going on.
This is Larry Bache with the Northern Law Group, helping policyholders for more than 30 years. If you have a claim or your client has a claim that needs help, please feel free to call the Northern Law Group because we are the true policyholder advocate.
What's up, everyone? Lead meteorologist John Choquette here to start off a busy start of the day and week for severe weather. We officially named this storm System Andria, so we're going to jump right into it. Apologize for the minor delays. We had a lot of data coming in last second here, a couple upgrades we needed to do. We wanted to make sure that we had the best possible forecast for you coming out here at this noon hour. Thanks always to our sponsors, American Contractor, Merlin Law Group, and See-Through Group. As always, they're in the description below. Go check them out. So of course, we have the Storm Andria is beginning today and going to continue through about Wednesday. It's the first day of a multi-day event. It looks like this is going to be the biggest hail day of the next 3 days, with that being the I-35 corridor in Texas. There is definitely a chance for quite a few areas to see potentially have some baseball, even larger size hail here across Texas. And I'm seeing a ton of comments coming in here. We'll try to make sure we moderate these a little bit so I can answer them as we go. I'm going to kind of go through the forecast and then probably start answering some questions. So yeah, we'll break down who's going to see possibly some baseball-sized hail today, and there is a chance that tornado threats, we're going to transition from a hail to more of a tornado threat through this evening and into tomorrow, especially in the southeast. Places like Louisiana, Mississippi, and even East Texas all could see some tornadoes going through the next couple of days here. We're going to break down today and tomorrow. We do have a lot to talk about, so we'll do that in just a second. Just a couple upcoming events. If you've missed the hail forecast, as always, you can come to National Women Roofing here in Oklahoma City. You've seen Andrea on here quite a bit. She's going to be presenting that forecast on March 23rd. That's on Wednesday. She's unfortunately on call this week. Yeah, that was unintentional that the first name on here, we're using people from the office. Andrea's starts with an A, and she has to be on call for this event. So doing all that for you there. We also have the Orca Mini Roundup. This is going to be here in Oklahoma City, March 29th. It's free to attend, free lunch, a lot of great stuff. You can come check us out there on March 29th, the Orca Mini Roundup. So that's it for events. We're going to jump right into what's happening right now. I don't know if you can hear it over on my microphone or not, but here at our office in Edmond, Oklahoma, it is freaking pouring. No hail expected for really any of this going up in Oklahoma today. The big story is here in Texas, Central Texas, North Central Texas, pretty much within that Texas triangle from Dallas to San Antonio to Houston is where your chances are going to be. You can see right now all of these showers just racing to the north. What really that is, we call it warm air advection. So you're getting a lot of warm, unstable air flowing pretty much due north up the I-35 corridor. With that, you got that cloudiness and some showers, but it's building a more unstable situation for later this afternoon and into overnight tonight. And those temperatures are already there. Notice it's 75 in Houston and it's 62 in Dallas, but you're getting those showers and everything is getting more unstable. And with that, you can see those dew points. Notice we're near 70-degree dew points here along the Gulf Coast from Corpus Christi to Houston, 67 San Antonio, it's close to 70 in Austin, and it's already up to 61 Dallas, and it's continuing to stream to the north. Excuse me, guys. So the more unstable air we get, the better chance for some bigger hail, for that tornado potential, and gusty winds as well for this afternoon. So with all of that unstable air, leads to CAPE, which is available potential energy. Notice we have some pretty high values here just west of Dallas, just pretty much right along I-35 by 3 p.m. Moving the time forward a tiny bit here to about 5 p.m., notice that is a lot of available potential energy to cause. The more CAPE you get, usually that bigger hail potential you have. And notice it is all up and down I-35 here at 5 p.m., right when storms fire. It obviously starts to go away as it becomes kinetic energy as storms are ongoing. We'll have that storms happening by about 7 o'clock. We're off to the races, and this all starts to shift to the east for your Tuesday for that available CAPE. So now, what is that for hail potential? Significant hail. Stopping here at 4 p.m., you can notice the area where that potential for that significant hail. So it's going to be indicating some pretty large hail there. And then by 7 p.m., it's already moving through the Dallas area. And we'll break this down, of course, more into what the actual means for sizes, since this just kind of goes a general small to large. But notice that hail potential really is there, even going late into the night across parts of Texas, southeast Texas, from like Houston all the way over into Louisiana by daybreak tomorrow. So here's that future radar. Obviously, it's going to be a little messy. Notice all those the models trying to figure out where all those little showers are that are racing off to the north. And as we push the time forward here to about 4 o'clock, notice a couple storms trying to fire just to the north of San Antonio, some stuff along I-35. And then really by about 5 o'clock, this is where the main show is going to be. Storms exploding to the west of Waco, to the west of Austin, and right near San Antonio. And what's going to happen, these are going to go up, they're going to go up quick, they're going to go up hard, and they're very quickly going to make very big hail. So they're going to form, and pretty much within an hour or so, cross I-35 with potentially up to some baseball-sized hail. I think right now, Austin, Texas, you might be the bullseye for this one as we move forward here. At 6 o'clock, notice some storms even getting close to Dallas here and forming in and around the Dallas Metroplex at about 6:30. We're east of I-35 to the south of you. And then some storms moving through the Dallas region about 7:30. This could be a busy evening here, folks, with a lot of different storms, and everything moves to the east by 9 o'clock, and more of a tornado threat starts to take over along I-20, points south down towards Houston, where yes, storms are also likely going to form in the Houston area in and around midnight and into the overnight hours. So a lot to talk about, a lot going on, a lot of Texas at risk today for some big time storms. So what's that maximum hail size potential for your Monday? Well, I think I gotta adjust this graphic because we don't actually have a baseball marker. So I said tennis ball size hail. I don't think we'll quite get to the extreme highs of 4-inch hail, that softball size hail, but I think baseball size hail is a pretty sure bet for the strongest storms that happen today. Most at-risk cities breaking it down, I think Austin, Texas and Waco, Texas both are in that high category of it seeing at least quarter-size hail. College Station and Dallas-Fort Worth at moderately high, and then Houston and Shreveport around a little lower. I think storm mode might be an issue for you guys, where less isolated cells and more aligned potentially of storms. That doesn't promote as much good hail growth, so you really see that smaller hail chances, thus that low moderate chance for Houston and Shreveport. So here is that C3 group forecast for Storm Andria here. And of course, I know this is pretty similar to what if you follow our Facebook page or Twitter or Instagram, you saw this graphic yesterday, a version of it anyway, the initial version I put together. This is what we're expecting now. Notice the purple color has expanded a fair bit to the north. Even places like Amarillo, there's an outside chance you guys could see some hail today. Wichita Falls, this is where Derek's heading down to chase. Within we call it the triple point, basically really close to the low pressure center that causes some storms to form. You could see some bigger hail. And I'm going to zoom in here for the Dallas-Fort Worth area, how I kind of delineated this. So this most significant region was where I think the highest likelihood overall of seeing bigger hail. So these indicators, the risk level, means you see at least quarters, right? So when you have the hatching in here, that means it's the most significant chance of whatever that maximum color is. So I kind of bisect the Metroplex a little bit. I think the better chances for the bigger hail may be places like Fort Worth, Arlington, up further north, possibly towards even Denton if it gets that far north. But I'm thinking the western side, so like Tarrant County, I think has a better chance than say Dallas County for today. And overall though, you notice the whole Metroplex, I do have that potential up to baseball. If anything happens that's gonna be a severe isolated storm, that potential is there for up to baseball size hail. Further to south, Waco, again, you have to have that high chance for at least quarter-size hail. And then Austin, you're the same way. Again, I think Austin, Texas is my pick city for today. It's looking pretty likely you guys are going to see some pretty intense storms. San Antonio, you're in the moderate only because I'm a little concerned storms may form just barely east of the city or right on top of the city, which would not maybe give the storms quite enough time to actually have any sort of big hail. There's other cities in here. I got College Station, you got Tyler, Texas. I can't put enough dots on here just because it would get really messy if I did, but anywhere in East Texas, if you're in this hatched area, you could see some pretty significant hail possibly today. Further to the south, Corpus Christi, you have a low chance of some storms. I have a low chance across Houston. If you're far northwestern areas like Huntsville or even the Woodlands or something like that, probably a better chance of seeing closer to maybe that ping pong ball to golf ball size hail if like any isolated storms from the I-35 corridor manage to make the journey. But more likely than not, storms are going to form after midnight and probably stay smaller hail size. That tornado and wind chance is much higher. Shreveport, getting mixed signals here. I'm keeping you low for now, possibly up to that golf ball, maybe even 2-inch size hail if it sneaks in there. It really is dependent on what happens right around dinner time and then races off to the north and east. If they can actually make it to Shreveport as isolated storms, better chance for hail. If not, probably not as high of a chance for hail. So we're going to break down city forecasting. We're going to start with my pick city here. This is Austin, Texas. So between 4 and 8 p.m., and I think it's really going to lean closer to that 4, 5, 6 time frame within this time frame. We have maximum hail size. I'm saying up to 3-inch hail. And that's any sort of storms that are going to be isolated. Could have that potential up to 3-inch hail. Someone is asking north or south Austin. I think it's favoring seems to be favoring a little further north, like think more like Round Rock and less San Marcos, right? And then that high chance of at least quarter-size hail and a pretty moderate chance of greater than golf ball size hail with these storms. Again, if they're isolated and they take off really quick, you're going to see some big-time hail right away. Excuse me, guys. Still getting over a little bit of a cold here. Dallas-Fort Worth, 4 to 9 p.m., similar time frame, right? This could be a little bit wider. I mean, you saw within the future radar, you had that first kind of round of storms, another round of storms moving through after dinner time. We could have max hail up to about baseball size hail for your maximum hail size for any storms that are ongoing. But that moderate chance, I think a less of a chance for hail than say in the Austin area, where it's looking pretty likely that we're going to see storms forming just to your west and moving pretty much right over them. But moderate chance seeing at least quarters, but I think any storms that do form that end up being severe very likely are going to have hail well in excess of quarter-size hail, probably in excess of golf balls. So hence the equal chances of greater than golf ball size hail. Let's move forward here, and then finally San Antonio is the last city forecast breakdown I have. This is 4 to 7, a little bit earlier. Biggest concern for San Antonio is I think things may form just to your east, so that keeps your chances, I think, moderate for at least quarters, right? I could see storms forming right on top of the city, drop some quarter-size hail, and then moving off to the east before the bigger hail happens, keeping that bigger hail chance low. But things always seem to like to form a little further west than forecast, and if that does happen, then you could get that chance for up to that big time hail up to 3 inches, much like Austin. Again, I think San Antonio, your chances are lower for the really big hail, hence that low chance for greater than golf balls, but moderate chance of around that quarter-size hail. So notice a lot of this is happening pretty much at the evening rush hour too. So we could have a lot of folks on the road trying to get home from work and stuff while these storms are moving through the area. So there could also be a fair bit, if there are big time hailstorms, there could be a fair bit of car damage as well. So how does Storm Andria look for that wind and tornado forecast? Well, it looks like tornado-wise, everything is probably going to stay to the southeast of Dallas. I think Dallas's chances for tornadoes are pretty low. I think you could see any of these severe storms could have gusty winds in excess of 60 miles an hour. But that main tornado threat I have highlighted in the hatched area here with the little tornado icons. I think just east of Austin, College Station, Bryan, Tyler, Longview, all at risk. I think that's Longview, right? All at risk here for any tornadic activity. Any isolated storms could have some potentially strong tornadoes with them. The environment is primed here for some bigger tornadoes, some longer lived tornadoes. So definitely keep an eye on that. We'll be covering any of that if it's moving through population centers. Got that moderate chance here for Shreveport, moderate chance as well for Houston, especially the northern sections of the metro where any of those isolated storms or storms that form in the late overnight hours could have some tornadic activity with it. So that's what we're looking for today. All of this shifts off to the east for your Tuesday here, where we will likely have by 7 a.m. a squall line of storms occurring across Arkansas, parts of Louisiana, and even far eastern sections of Texas. And these could have, again, potentially some marginally severe hail. I think embedded tornadoes and gusty winds with this. As we push east through the morning and into the early afternoon hours, notice by about lunchtime, we have what I think is the best chance for some maybe stronger tornadoes or even some hail. Like, I think the real hail risk for tomorrow, at least in the southeast, is going to be any isolated storms that form ahead of this main line. So by about 12 o'clock, moving to around the 2, 3 o'clock hour, notice these isolated storms in western section of Alabama, even flirting with the Birmingham area. That's where you could see that bigger hail, or really any hail at all. I think the majority of this line will be a wind and tornado producer and less so a hail producer for Tuesday. Keep pushing forward. By about 6 o'clock, by dinner time, everything is across Mississippi. There is some indications that this line might try to split up a little bit, which could rise the hail potential, could also increase the tornado potential. We'll watch this carefully, of course, be updating you guys as more data comes in. And moving to about 9 o'clock, things start to weaken a fair bit as we get into the overnight hours here across Alabama. So it could be a multi-day event likely here. And I have one more thing, one little surprise for your Tuesday. Near the center of the storm system, we may have some sneaky storms. Surprise Kansas City tomorrow. This is at about 2 o'clock. Notice you have some isolated cells trying to form. There's going to be a lot of cold air aloft, so it could really promote hail growth. Could see some storms move right across the Kansas City or very near the Kansas City area between that 2 and 5 p.m. time frame. So it's very possible we could see some hail in sections of Missouri and far eastern Kansas, the Kansas City metro, which I know you guys are foaming at the mouth for any kind of hailstorm. Doesn't look like the craziest event, but I'm showing it because I think this could be a little bit of a sneaky hail event for your Tuesday, at least from what we're seeing right now. So how does this all break down for your hail forecast for your Tuesday? Well, I have two different areas that we're highlighting here. We have up here in Kansas and Missouri, Kansas City, I got that low chance right now. This very well could change pretty quickly here if things are a little more consistent or even show a little bit more instability. Hail sizes could go up, the chances could go up a little bit, but for right now, I think just keep it on your radar from your Kansas City area. We could see some storms tomorrow. And then off to the south here, notice I'm keeping my chances for hail overall pretty low. Because of that squall line, we are completely dependent on any isolated storms that form off to the east of the main line tomorrow afternoon. Where I have it highlighted in orange is where I think that best chance would be. That could have up to some golf ball size hail. Matt, yes, Derek is off chasing today. He's heading down towards the Wichita Falls area, hopefully getting some big hail this afternoon. So you can follow him on his personal page. He'll probably do some streaming there. I don't think we're chasing for the news channel today, so we'll be able to stream on Facebook. And of course, we will be here doing any sort of live coverage that happens later. Here's the wind and tornado forecast for tomorrow. This is the more significant risk overall. Up in Kansas City, any storms that happen, tornado risk very low. Gusty winds probably pretty minimal, maybe just marginally severe if there are any at all. This is all very dependent on if storms happen. But the main risk here, notice I have a high chance for some tornado potential here for Jackson. Anywhere in this hatching region could see strong tornadoes with this, and they could be embedded within the line, which would make them rain wraps, so we wouldn't be able to see them. Moderate across the board. I think we definitely have a tornado day for your Tuesday to really kind of kick off storm season here. Yesterday was the first day of spring, and now we're immediately into talking about severe weather. We already had some severe weather happen. So I think that's all we got for you today. Were there any questions I saw there? I mean, there was a ton of comments in the chat. If we don't answer them right now, I'm going to keep an eye on the chat this afternoon, try to answer any questions you guys have. We'll be posting a lot of these graphics on our Twitter, on our Facebook and Instagram stories, and just on our Facebook as well. So if you don't want to go through the whole video or you just want to see the graphic again, it'll be on there, easy to see. We'll be back later, depending on when storms fire. I may do a quick little forecast update, or we're just going to do live coverage as storms occur. We will do live coverage for as long as there's storms and population centers producing hail. So don't want to miss out on that. We live stream on Twitter, we live stream on Facebook, we live stream on YouTube, all simply at Hail Trace, Kansas City potentially for tomorrow. Give us a call, 855-334-4245. Any comments, questions, or concerns, you guys get yourself ready to go in case any storms happen. It would be great. So we're here to help. Don't worry, you can get you all signed up and squared away before the storms happen. Of course, even after they happen, we're here answering the phones as soon as possible. Email us info@hailtrace.com if you're not a big fan of talking on the phone, or visit the website, hailtrace.com. You can message us right in the bottom right-hand corner, a little chat bubble thing. You can chat with us on there as well. We answer pretty quick. So, big day today, guys. Do your hail dances. Maybe we'll see our first 5-star map of the year. We'll see. And we'll be back later for live coverage or forecast updates, so keep an eye on your notifications for that. Have a great time, everybody. I'll see you later.